Good morning, everybody. Can you hear me? Hello.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So Michael, do not try to control me, please. Okay. Okay. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody. So let us start our lecture this morning, and as usual, let us see our schedule. So we are at the end or last quarter of this course. So here today we will start class object. Okay, really an interesting programming concept or paradigm. I think you will find interest. And by the way, your quiz 6 is uploaded, and and that will be due October 25th, right? This weekend. So yeah, please take the quiz 6 as soon as possible. Okay, and when is your test? Test 3 will be November 9th. Okay, so test 3, in test 3 you will get questions mostly about method and like string operation and class and some class and object. Okay, so today's content I'm sorry, I'm feeling sick, so this lecture may serve for 1321 section 4 your section and also 5 that I'm supposed to teach in the afternoon. I'm not sure that I will be able to teach them again, but in case I cannot teach them, I will share this video with them also. So let us start lecture today. And today's topic, we will start a new topic, completely new topic, that is called object-oriented programming. Okay, so I think you will find interest in it. Let me open the slide. Okay. How many are there? Okay, 27 people are here. Okay, so object-oriented programming is a new paradigm of programming, and it is a new concept of programming, and that is based on class from which objects are created. Okay, I'm giving you a definition of class in a second, but let me tell you the concept. So this is OOP. In other way, it is in shortcut, it is called OOP, object-oriented programming, and some people may pronounce that OOPS, object-oriented programming, OOP or something, but I like to pronounce it as an OOP. So you know, everything is object-oriented programming is based on the concept of class. So what is class? Okay. So then class actually is a type. We can say it is a data type, a custom data type. So far in our programs that we discuss with primitive data types or built-in data types like int is an integer data type. So so in our if you recall from other programs, from previous programs, that for instance we declared a variable int, that is a variable, right? Type here, type is int, That means we use int keyword in order to declare an integer type variable. Okay, so here int is a built-in data type. So everything but these there are 8 primitive data types. We know that, right? Int, byte, short, character, boolean, float, double. So and also there are some built-in data types. One of them I know that we know that is a string type. But in spite of having some built-in or primitive data types, these are not sufficient to do our like real-life world. We may need to have complicated and more data types. So if you have more better data types, so then we can do our programming and application development better way. Okay. So actually a class that we want to discuss today is a data type. Okay, is a user-defined data type. So in this world, everything in this world we say or see or do not see is called an instance or object. In physics, we call it a particle. But in programming concept, we say an object. Everything in this world is an object. Okay, as a human being, I am an object. You are an object. A computer is an object. A chair is an object. A table is an object. These objects are visible. Okay, there are some invisible objects also around us, surround us. Okay, so people who are joining here, you can speak aloud. Okay, so if there is no noise from your side, please keep yourself unmuted. And can anyone please give me an example of an object that is not visible, but we enjoy that object feature?
Air.
Yeah, okay, thank you. Air is an object. We feel it, but we cannot see it. Do you have another example, or anyone has another example? Air, like heat, light, right? So anyone think about other examples, like for instance, the Wi-Fi signal or mobile signal, right? These are objects also. These are more powerful objects. If internet Wi-Fi connection is gone, within a second or within a few seconds, we do realize this, right? Okay, so that means it is not necessary that an object needs to be visible. It may be invisible. Okay, so but everything that the object actually is an instance of a class. So then concept is that what is a class? Okay, class is I told you as a class is a type or data type. Okay. Okay, so class. So in this world, everything has a type. Okay, so do you see? Hello. Yep. What are these? What is this?
A pen.
A pen. Thank you. And what is this? This is also a pen, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so then what is this?
Pencil.
Okay, this is a pencil, right? So everything in this world has a type, so that a common name, right? This is what we are calling this. We call this as a pencil, and we call these items or objects, okay, pen. Okay, so you see that there are many different kinds of pen. All of these are pen in general, but they do not look alike. But there are some common characteristics or features of all of these items. so that we know this as pen, right? As pen, right? We say this pen, and similarly, these are the other items. These are different, but they have some common characteristics or feature, so that we call them pencil. And you see the pencils are and pens both are used to write, but these are called pen and these are called pencil. Even a little baby can detect that this is a pencil and these are pen, right? So every object, everything in this world, okay, is called an object. Okay, there are millions, billions of objects in this world. Even the whole universe is an object. Sometimes there are many objects are combined together to build in a larger object. Okay, and every object has a type, like these objects are type or common name, right? So this is why we call them the common name. That pen, we say pen, that is a class. So that means we can say in general these are pen, and in general all of these are pencil. So what do we understand from this concept? That everything in this world has a type. That type name is called the class name. Okay, and the instance of that type is called a pencil. Sorry, an object. Okay, for instance, here all of these are called pencil, and instance of a pencil. This is a kind of pencil. This is a kind of pencil. So we call them these as a pencil object. This is another pencil object. This is another pencil object. Okay, and this is a pen object. This is a pen object. So the concept I want to make clear to you is that a pen is a general type. Okay, a type is invisible. Okay, so if you are asked to bring me a pen, okay, then you will bring something like this, right? And if I asked you to bring a pencil, then you will bring me something like this. Okay, so every instance or entity or particle in this world is called an object. So in object-oriented programming language, an object is an instance of a class. What is a class? Class is a type. Okay, and in object-oriented programming, we will declare a class first as a type, and then later we will create an instance of that type as object. Okay, so so a class is a concept. Again, remember that a class is a concept. A concept, that means it is not visible. Okay, for instance, so a class represents the concept of things. Of things means that are objects in real world, like dogs, Okay, so if we now consider dog, so as a dog, by hearing the word dog, what do we understand? An animal, right? That has maybe a name, okay, and has some attributes, like maybe color, maybe some. Let us search for dog. So if we search for dog, you see that there are different types of dog in this world. Some are like pet dogs, some are wild dogs, but all of these have some common characteristics. This is why we call them dog, not cat. Okay, or goat or cow. So what are the common characteristics that dog have? This maybe had a type name or name, color. Okay, all dogs have 4 legs in general and 2 ears. Okay, 2 eyes. Okay, some teeth. Okay, so these are the features or attributes or characteristics. And what the mm, other functionality that a dog has? A dog like makes sound, right? A dog eats, a dog sleeps, okay? A dog uh, respond. If you call a dog, if it is trained, it will come to you, right? So that means every object or in this world has some characteristics. Okay, actually those characteristics are defined in the class. When we declare the class, we give the characteristics that this class type object has. So there are two kinds of characteristics in a class. Some are called attributes or characteristics that are called variable, and some functions that are used to access those variables. In object-oriented programming, these functions are called methods or behaviors or member function. Okay. So now this is a pseudocode of a class declaration. So we use class keyword in all uppercase in pseudocode, but in and then it begins. This is the class name, and it starts with begins and it ends with okay and class keyword, and the class body is defined here within the body class body. Okay, so let us see this in programming language perspective. So in programming, most of the programming language, in order to declare a class, we use class keyword. So all in lowercase. This is dog, and then Java. In other programming languages, it starts with a curly brace and it ends with a curly brace. In Java and C#, it is same. Okay, but in C++, in Java and C#, it is same. We use class keyword, then give the class name dog, and then we start with curly brace and end with curly brace. But it is different in C++. So C++ people, okay, please remember that a class in C++, a class ends with a semicolon. But in Java and C#, a semicolon is not needed. Okay, this is another difference in C++. In other languages, in C++, a class ends with a semicolon. Okay. Now, once we declare a class, we can create object of this class type. Okay. It is easy. Whenever you declare a class, then we can declare its object. Okay. So actually, what is a class again? A class is a type. Okay, is a concept or a type or data type. Okay, and then an object is an entity of a class or an instance of a class. We will see soon how we declare a class and we declare and we create an object of a class. So a class, again, a class contains two kinds of things. A class contains some states and some behaviors. Okay, states are the variables and behaviors are declared as function or method. So if we give a formal definition of a class, I would like to say a class is a user-defined data type that contains some variables and some methods to access those variables. So that means all class contains some variables and some other functions to access those variables. For instance, a class, a bank account class. So this is an account class, bank account. So it should be one single letter. Class name. This, for instance, this is a class name. Bank account, and bank account is a class. So it has some, at least for instance, a bank account has. A bank account has owner name and balance, how much money currently it has, the account holder has, and it has some functions like deposit function that allows to user, the customer, to make a deposit, withdraw function that makes the customer to withdraw money from his balance, and to check balance, how much remaining money it has. Okay. So once a bank account is created, then the banking software creates object of bank account. Like for instance, for customer, for each customer, it creates an object. For instance, John's bank account. When John goes to a bank to create an account, it is created under his name, and then any for another person's name is account is created, another person's account is created. So every person's balance and deposit, withdraw, and check balance, all of these activities are stored in its own object. So this is why one object's activity is being separated from another object. Like this is why one customer's activities are being separated from another customer. So another customer, we cannot see other customers' bank account activities, but we can see our own bank activities. Okay. So let us we will soon create a program with a class. For instance, in real life, what are the attributes of a class or a dog class? We can consider so dog, for instance, has attribute rabbit or not rabbit. So this is a Boolean attribute, and weight, this is the number that is maybe float or double, and the name, that is string. And a dog has some behavior. It eats, it sleeps, it barks, it makes sound, it growls, something like this. Okay, so how do we declare such a class in pseudocode? In pseudocode, that as we told you, that it starts with class keyword and then class name, and start begins, and then it goes the other class body. Attributes will go here like name, rabbit, and behaviors will go here like growl and eat. Actually, behaviors are defined as methods, so maybe we can begin with better. And it ends with this. Okay, in programming so in complete pseudocode will be like this. Started will be this. Create. So this is a variable. So this is we are making as a create as a rabbit. So here instead of this colon backslash sign, you can give equal. So you can give equal, no problem. In your test, you can give equal sign. That's good. Okay, so that means a dog class. That means every object of a dog, or all dogs, we can say, will have a rabbit feature. Initially, we are telling that false, and it will have weight. Initially, we can say weight. That means it is not born yet, so weight is 0. We can say, or you can say 1 pound or 10 pound, whatever. Say you can say that default value. And name. So you don't have it yet, so you don't put just blank name. So whenever we create a dog, then we will have a name, given name. Okay. Okay, and then another concept is a constructor. So a constructor is a method, actually, nothing else, is a method that has exactly same name of its class name. So what is a constructor? A constructor is a method of a class that is used to construct an object of a class. Okay. There are special features of a constructor. A constructor that we will discuss on. That a constructor has exactly same name of its class name, and a constructor cannot have a return type. Okay, and it cannot return a value, and it is activated. A constructor is not called, is called when an object is created. We will see in a real program. So okay, so we will come back here maybe later. We will see that. Let us see. This is the constructor. So constructor has same name of its class name. So it's dog, it's dog, and these are the parameters we pass to the constructor. Okay, so we will see this one again. I'm telling that instead of this backslash, you can write give equal sign. In your test, you can write equal sign. That is good. Okay. So what? So again, what a class contains? A class contains some variables and some methods. Okay, so variables these are the variables: rabbit, weight, name, and this is the constructor. Okay, and then a class may contain other variables, other behaviors go here. So we may have other variables like a dog barks, a dog eats, a dog sleep, and something like this. Okay, so how many people are there here? I like to hear your voice. I'm sorry, I'm not feeling good, but if you do not make any sound, that I'm not feeling interest.
Hello.
Yes, please. Hello. Yeah, please make me response that whether you understand or do not understand. So these are the concept is difficult concept. So at the beginning it is difficult. So I'm trying to spend some extra time. It may seem unnecessary for some of you who already know this object-oriented programming concept, but I'm trying to start from the beginning, even considering the people who do not have any experience, any knowledge. Okay, so but people who know this concept ahead of time, it may be boring for you, but please never mind. Give me some time to demonstrate this for the beginner. Okay, so then what is a driver? Is another class or another method. Actually, what we do in our program, we create classes in individual file, usually in individual files, or we may create multiple classes or multiple types in a single file that in programming language we call header file, especially in C++. And then we use that classes in another method or another class that is called the driver class or main class, where the main method is declared. And usually we, so let me show you a program. Usually it's the main method. So this is called the main class. Okay. So usually in main class we use data type, right? So class will be, so this is a class name. I is a class name, type name. For instance, if I would have a type dog, then I would say dog d1 equal to dog d1, maybe dog d1. But since I do not have this dog class created in this program, so this is why it is showing an error message. But once I create a dog class, then it will be fine. For instance, how do I create a dog class? Class dog. You see that as soon as I create a dog class, then type is fine. It is fine, right? And soon we will see how do we create a dog type. This is a type, and then we create an instance of this type. So this is an instance. I is an instance of integer type. So usually we say I, j, k. If this an instance is a type of a built-in type, then we call these I, j, k are variables. Here I, j, k are called variables. Okay, but whenever our type is not a built-in type, then we call d1 we may call this as a variable, but in general we call D1 is an object. Whenever our type is a class, then we call the instance as object, not variable. Okay, but when the type is a built-in type, then we call them variable. But if our type is a class type, then we call them object. So this is one concept that everybody should understand. Do you understand that when you call an object and when you call a variable?
Yes.
Okay, so something, for instance, we all, I like me and you, we all are human being, right? So we may eat same kind of food, we may wear same kind of like clothes and shoes, but whenever if I teach you, then I'm called a teacher, and if you are taught, then you are called a student, right? So similarly, if the type is a built-in type, then we call them variable, and if the type is not built-in, then we call them object. This is the simplest way to remember, to understand which one is object and which one is class. We know that there are 8 data types. So if the type is one of the 8 primitive data types, then the instance is called a variable. Otherwise, the instance is called an object. For instance, we declare string, right? String, if you say S1. So can anyone please tell me what we say S1? S1 is a variable or S1 as an object?
It's a variable.
Yes. No. No, I tell you that S string is not a primitive. Is a string. There are 8 primitive. There.
Messenger audio.
There are 8 primitive data types, right? Is string over there within the 8 types?
No.
No.
If it is not, then it is not a variable. So what should we tell this S1?
That it's an object?
Yes. People say that it is a string object.
As long as not one of the 8 variables.
8.
Yeah.
One of the if the variable is one of the 8 primitive data types, this type. For instance, integer, we say int. What are the primitive data types? So we say character,
Short, byte,
short, int, long, double, right? How many you got? 1, 2, 3, 3, 6, 7, and there is another remaining. Can you remember? These are the 8 primitive data types. So if this type is one of these 8 primitive data types, then we call this a variable. Otherwise, we call this object. Okay, this is a quick thing you should remember. Okay. So usually what we do here, this is the main class or driver class. This is the class that contains the main method is called the main class or the driver class, whatever you say. So you can say driver class. Some books you will see the driver class, or some people say that is a driver or is the main class. Okay, that since it contains the main method or the driving method, And usually all variables, most of the variables are declared, or classes or objects are declared in the main method or in the main class or driver class. Okay, that is the concept. So now let us start with a program class. So at this point, I like to encourage you to write actual program code, not in pseudocode. Okay, for object-oriented programming, writing pseudocode will take you a lot of time. But writing actual program code for object-oriented program is easier than writing pseudocode. Okay, so then, although in a few slides, the remaining next few slides declare with is pseudocode. Okay, but I like to encourage you to write actual code. But there is a difficulty that we are learning 3 languages here. This is why these are demonstrated using is pseudocode instead of 3 different languages. I'm sorry. So in the main method, you see the main method, we create J1, J2 as dog. So in pseudocode format, we say as dog. So since dog is a class, so dog is a class over here, right? So begin. Okay, there is a missing something over here. Issue class. Okay. Okay, so begin main. This is the main method. Actually, they want to make. So actually, the pseudocode is defined how the book or the programmer wants to define this. This is the maybe this is defined as a main class, the driver class, as well as methods. So here in this class or method, so we create J1, J2 as dog. That means J1, J2 are objects, right? J1, J2 are objects. So whenever an object is created, that is defined as null value. So when J1 and J2 will not have any value, that is called null. So for integer type variable, whenever we declare it, its default value is 0. Right? So, but for objects, default value is null in lowercase null. Remember that. Then when we create a new, we use a new keyword. We use a new keyword in order to instantiate an object. Okay. So then we use new keyword and then we write the constructor name, call the constructor. This is the class method. The constructor is a method that has exactly same name of its class name, and these are parameters are passing to this constructor. So 14 is integer type and Bob is string type. Okay. So these constructors somewhere in the class, this constructor was declared like this. Constructor dot, it takes parameters, 2 parameters, one W, another N. So then there is something missing over here. Okay. There is one more parameters. There is R for rabbit, W for weight, and N for name. So 3 parameters. There will be 3 parameters for 3 values. So these are the decoration which is wrong over here. Okay, so if the rabbit is not declared within here, so that means by default it is false for all dog instance. So these are the concepts that are demonstrated, but I like to give you a real program. So I think you can go through these slides, but I like to give you a real program so that you see the dog This is the dog class. It has these variables and it is these constructors, and there will be some methods. You need to write eat and grow. Okay. So maybe the eat method will be like this and grow method will be like this. Okay. And then we use dot operator to access the class elements. But a class contains two types of things, right? Some variables and some methods. So that means j1 dot eat. Okay, so I like everybody to give attention here. Okay, so you see that there are two objects, j1 and j2. j1 is a dog object, j2 is a dog object, but j1 has different value, 14 and Bob, and j2 has this. So whenever and also that j1 has its own method, so all classes methods and growl, two methods eats and growl. So whenever we say j1.eat, that means we are calling this eat method for the j1 object. And whenever we say j2.growl, so then we are calling this method for j2. And we are setting up, for instance, j1.name, so that we are setting this name or replacing this name for j1 object. So this name will be replaced. Okay, so let us go to the real program. Then I will show you how this works in Java programming language. You see this one, Java programming code, and this is the main method. So we create d1 like this, and this is almost same thing in C#. Okay, and this line is exactly same in C# and Java, but it is different in C++. C++, as I told you, that a class name ends with a semicolon. Okay, and we also use this dot colon colon. This is called the scope operator. So here colon colon is called the scope operator. That means this constructor is defined for the dog class, and this is eat method is defined within dog class. This girl method is defined within dog class. So has anyone any questions so far? Hello.
No.
Okay, so you see the C++ program is different quietly than the Java and C# program. Okay, I'm taking a maybe 5 minutes break. So let me take a 3 minutes break. Okay, then after that we will show some live program, at least one live program. Okay, let's have a 5 minutes break, please. Then we will discuss for the 20 minutes live program. Okay, I'm back here. So let us see how many people. So there are 30 people here. So I like to hear your voice. Okay. So actually this topic is a challenging topic, although it is an interesting, but in its beginning is challenge for many students. But if you understand the beginning concept, then your remaining part of this module will be easier. Okay, so I like to talk to most of you. So unless there is any like horrible background noise in your side, please keep yourself unmuted and speak with me. And I like to do a collaborative or at least peer programming. Okay. Okay, so if you go to my Replit account, if you see, I see that I have from my previous semesters, I have this complete program written in C# language, in Java, and C++. Sorry, again, I'm not feeling good today, so I'm not going to write the entire code from the scratch, but I want to make a demo of this program so that I like to explain instead of writing the code completely. So I'm sharing this programs link with you. So please practice this. Number 1 in C#, almost the same program in Java, and same program in C++. So I like everybody to practice these 3 programs. Okay, so I have given the complete link of this program. You will just open and then you'll practice. So let us go to the first one. Okay, so as we declared, this is a dog, is a class name. Okay, so dog is a class, name of a class. So as traditional rule, a class name start with a class keyword, and a class contains 2 things, 2 kinds of things, some variables and some functions, some variables and some functions. Okay, these are the functions. Okay, so let us start with, so class, these are the variable. A class has a dog has a name, dog has 8, dog has age, and what are the other attributes a dog has? So in our PowerPoint slide, we just saw that the dog has attributes rabbit, right, weight, and name. So name, we can say it's rabbit. So what each attribute has its own type. What is the type? Rabbit. Rabbit is false. That means value is false. That means type is Boolean, right? So bool rabbit. And weight. So like it has a weight, right? So weight, I see that I already have it at the end, so I can move it here. Okay, so my dog, every dog has a name, and it has rabbit, and it has weight, right? So name has a type, right? What is the type of name variable? String. Okay, what is the type of rabbit? Is bool. What is the type of weight? It is maybe float or double. Okay, now, so before we this type, we are also using putting another access modifier. This is called public, private, or protected. For now, let us make everything public. In the next lecture, we will discuss what is meant by private, public, and protected. There are 3 kinds of access modifiers: public, protected, and private. Okay, so for now, let us consider that these are public. Okay, and a dog may have other attributes like age, okay, is trained or not, okay, color, okay, and so this may be, and the concept of how to create a class with these basic variables, then we can add any other or any more attributes with this. Okay, so this is a constructor. Okay, so constructor class, the constructor has its exactly same name of its class name. Is also case sensitive, so you cannot write these in lowercase, so D must be in uppercase. So since class name is start with uppercase. So for now, let's just keep this count variable. Okay, so we are not using count when we're declaring count here. In the third lecture, we'll discuss the static variable. For now, that's just skip it. So here, this dog, for dog, so I am giving name Bailey for this dog, and meaning age is 2, and is trained is true, and color is giving white, and weight is 34, and maybe we missed rabbit. Maybe I can get rabbit equal to false or true. Whatever we like. Okay, so this is one constructor. Okay, actually a class, every class, if you do not have any constructor, then that contains, this is default constructor by default. This is default constructor. So every class by default contains this constructor. Even if you do not have any constructor declared in your class, then remember that there is this class by default. But we may have other classes, other like constructors. This is the default constructor every class has, and we may have other constructors, like this is the one dog constructor, this is another dog constructor. So this constructor, this has exactly same name, but this is different than this, and it has different types or different number of parameters. Then it has no parameter at all, and it has parameters, some parameters. And then how do we assign values to this parameter? We say name equal to name. You see that this name equal to this name, and this name is value. So sometime you will see that we use these. So this is used if we have exactly same name of this attribute name, exactly same name as this parameter name. So the parameter name is name here, right? And it is name, but it is in uppercase, but it is in lowercase. So these are different. So these are different, then use of this is optional. But if they are exactly same, then this is default. So this is that for age, we give age this dot age equal to age. Since exactly same case sensitive, same name, and these and this, so we must use this. Okay, and similarly for other, so here is trained is boolean, so this dot is trained equal to is trained, and so on. This dot color equal to color. You remember that if we give a different variable name, this is the argument name, then this is the field name color, then it is, if you give exactly same name, then this is required, this dot. Otherwise this dot, use of this is not required, is optional. Okay, then now let's come. So far we have discussed two things. A class contains some variables. These are the variables and some methods. One kind of methods are the constructors, are called special methods or constructors that are used to construct object. We will see this soon. Okay. So here, how these constructors are used in the main method, we need to go to the driver class or main class. You see the main class, main method. We are creating dog. We say dog d1 equal to new dog. Dog d2 equal to new dog. This is dog is a constructor. This dog constructor is called dog constructor. Is called. Okay. Similarly, dog constructor is called. And here, so these are the default constructor that we declare here. Okay, actually a class cannot have multiple. Actually, this is the true default constructor, but it is sometimes it is called a default constructor. Actually, this is in some books you will see that this is called fixed constructor. It is getting fixed. So have this, then it will have name equal to empty. Nothing. And by default, rabbit will take false. By default, age will take 0. By default, is instantiate will be take false. This chain will take false, and something like this. Color string variable it will take empty, and weight it will take float variable take 0.0, something like this. Okay, now here for D3, in order to create D3, D4, and D5 object, we are using other kind of constructor. So we are calling the second constructor. If you hover your mouse over here and click on the control keyboard key from your keyboard and click over here. Control. In some it does not allow, but some IDE it allows. If you click, it will take it over there. Press Control and click there, it will take the declaration. Okay, so this is calling this constructor. This constructor. So a constructor is used to create an object, and new operator is used to instantiate an object. So how does this object is instantiate D1 and D2 object with the default values? And how do these objects are instantiated with this default value, with this value, whatever we are passing over here. Now, if we want to say display D1.display, say D1 has a method, it is called display. Okay, so while we are declaring the name, you see that we are declaring that the object attribute. This is one kind of method. Okay, this is a kind of method. So we say D1.display. Okay. For now, anyone any question so far? Hello.
No.
Okay. So sorry, scam call, business call. So far, let us, if I get rid of this, okay. Okay, these are all commented out. Okay, so if we run this program, Okay, there is a mistake over here. 16, line number 16. Okay, I see. I have dog object constructor twice. I don't need this one. So as I said that if I have this, then I don't need this. Okay, but if I have that one, I don't need this. This is how I'm duplicating. Okay, let me get rid of this. Okay, so let us demonstrate so far what we have done. So here in my main method, in my driver class, we have different kinds of instance. So here we have x and one, right? So we declare a variable like int x1. Then here x1 is called a, yeah, please tell me, x1 is called a variable, right? You understand? We declare this. We discussed this, right? X1 is a variable. So how do we declare a variable? A variable is declared with a type x1, and then later maybe we can say x1 equal to 15, or combination of these two lines can be combined, written as like this, right? Int x1 equal to 20 or 15, whatever we do in the same line, and we can print x1 like this, right? Same thing we can do in object creation. Okay, so these are the things that we are familiar with, right? Normal variable declaration and normal variable declaration in two separate statements. This is the declaration and this is the initialization. X1 declaration of x1 variable and initialization of x1. So this is a combined, okay, this is a combined declaration and a combined and initialization. Okay, this statement. So we understand this, right? So similarly, in creating a dog object, we can say like this: declaration of, so here d1 is an object. Okay, and initialization of d1 object. I'm sorry, my MacBook is got connected with my phone, so you understand this? So these are similar, right? So whenever you say do dog d1, so declaration of dog object, and this is the initial object, but these two can be combined together. Okay, so here combined, what you do, combined declaration and of, let's say, d2 object. Okay, so that means we can do okay, we can do this way, either this way, combined together or separately into different statement. We can do this way. Okay, so here we have I have done into two separate way. This is the declaration and this is the initialization, and here we have done for D2 object we have done combined in one statement. Okay, so everybody understand this? So similarly here these statements are the combination of declaration and initialization all together. Okay. So it is working. So a class, whatever you declare so far, a class contains some variables and some methods. One of the kind of methods we declared, we learned so far. These are called constructor, and there may have other variables. Okay, some of the variables that a dog can move, right? So we may give a functionality of a dog object that a dog can move. So this is a method. It is declared, and whatever implementation in the body we need, we can put over here. Sometimes this implementation will be single line, it can be 100 line, and it can be 1000 line in a real life program. Okay, so you are learning just concept over here. If you understand the concept, then according to your need, you can declare your method as needed. You see that each method start with a curly brace and ends with a curly brace. Similarly, make sound is another method. Okay, and display is another method. So this display method is being used to display the object. Okay, display the object. Okay, this is what we are so far we are calling D1 to display method. Okay, so far has anyone any question?
No.
No.
Okay, thank you. So display method, this is my own defined display method. It is used to display this string. Okay, so what happens if, for instance, if I do not have this display method? If I did not declare this display method, what would happen? Let us see. If I do not display method, then I cannot call the display method, right? I cannot call the display method. It will make an error. So that means I cannot. It is all of this will make error, right? All of this will make an error. Okay. So then how do we display an object in a program? Like this is more similar. How do we display a variable? So how do we display a variable? For instance, here we say x1 equal to plus x1, right? Very simple, straightforward, right? And same thing we are saying that d1 equal to d1, d2 equal to d2. Whatever we are saying, that this plus for concatenation. Okay, now if you want to run this program, what will happen? See that there is something. Okay, it is coming. So it is coming this way, but it is coming the effect of, for instance, if I do not have this also. Okay, let us run this program. You see that what is doing is it is different language to language. It is saying d1 equal to dog, d2 equal to dog, d3 equal to dog. In other languages it may come memory address. Okay, so that means these are not useful. This is the output, these are the output, these are the output for this statement. So these are not meaningful to us, right? So in order to display an object in our expected format, we need to do two things. Either we need to create our own display method. Okay, that is the display method we can do here. And if we use that display method, then we will call that display method like this. Okay, then it will display as I want to display. So you see that I display that like this, name colon name age colon age like this. Or there is a special method, we can use that special method that is called the toString method. We override the toString method. We use override keyword because this string method is declared in another place, and this string method, toString method, it returns a string variable, and we put the return statement as we like. And then if we have this toString method, then you see that these will work nicely. This statement will work. Then in that case, we do not need our display method. And if we run this program, you will see that these will work more like as a variable, normal variable like this statement, but these statements are being displayed with the help of this toString method. You see that this toString method is a default method, and it is not required to call toString d1.toString. We do not need to call this method. We do not need to call this toString method. toString method is called automatically. So even by default, all of these objects have this toString method by default. Okay, so toString method is not required to call explicitly. These are called implicitly. Okay. And one thing is that this dot class is start in line number 3, and it ends. Give me 2 more minutes, please. And it ends in line number 67. And everything, all other methods and variables are declared within this class. This is the end of the dot class. Okay. So there is nothing, you cannot put any code inside, outside of a class. So you see that all programs code are within, either in the main class. See that this class start over here and main class ends over here, and this class ends over here, and it starts at the beginning. So everything except the import statements or other statement, all other statement goes into a class. So for now, I want to wrap up today. So I like you to practice these programs. So this is in C# program I discussed, and I have similar programs written in Java and also in C++. For C++ does not have the toString method. So rather it is used an alternative way to fulfill the purpose of toString method. Okay, in the next lecture, I will discuss this. Otherwise, almost same for Java and C#. Okay, has anyone any question?
Nope.
No.
Yeah, that's good. I like everybody to practice at least these 3 programs. Okay, these 3 programs that I sent you the link. Please practice these 3 programs. At least try to understand. Okay. And I'm sorry, I'm not feeling good. I may need to take a sick leave. So in case I cannot teach in the upcoming next day after tomorrow's class, I will ask you to to watch some recorded lecture video from my previous semester. One thing is that I have good videos in fall 2019. So fall 2019, if you see that, I taught 2 sections in fall 2019, section 1 and section 2. So if you go any of these sections in fall 2019 video, you will see that I discussed almost everything here. So the lecture So you see the introduction to class object. And if you want to go ahead with me, so please watch these lecture videos. Like for the next at least 6 lecture videos, we will discuss. And then maybe if you want to go ahead of me, then you can watch these lecture videos from the previous semester's videos. Then you will get some idea, and then when you go with me with my lecture, then you will have a clear understanding. And this section you need practice. Okay, for instance, this module you need to practice yourself. Okay, thank you everybody, and you have a good day.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Thank you.